I'm Pete.
And I'm Sayre, and we're here at the Moto of Orlando studios with our 2013 Triumph Thruxton build.
Yeah, this came to us from our friend Justin. He had his Thruxton that he was really happy with, but he wanted to sort of kick it up a notch. And right when we took on the project, we were on our way to the One Moto Show in Portland, Oregon, and we were like, yes, we can look at some bikes out there and sort of get some inspiration. And one of the things that we noticed was that at the show there was a lot of great custom Thruxtons or Triumphs, uh, but they all sort of that iconic tank sort of made them look like a standard Thruxton or Triumph. So we sort of decided right then and there that we need to sort of get away from the stock tank and maybe look elsewhere for inspiration. And we sort of went back in history a little bit to some of the classic British racing bikes.
Yeah, and my history working for a racing team, I was kind of obsessive about the late 60s, early 70s British chassis designers, which was basically the last gasp of English engineering for a while as they lost to the Japanese motor manufacturers, essentially. But what the English could always do is make a bike handle well. So they had some amazing designers, privateers like Colin Sealy, who made chassis for Nortons and AJSs and Matchlesses, and then later on Japanese bikes. But this frame spar in particular is an ode to Colin Sealy, who was the guy who figured out that if you connect the swing arm area to the steering head area, your bike handles incredibly well. So that's where we kind of came with that. And then the big tank was also an era of that 1960s road racing stuff.
Right,
Sort of very serious, kind of a little bit heavier duty than your standard cafe racer.
right. And we sort of wanted to take that longer tank and sort of modernize it a little bit. So that's where we added a little bit more linear sort of lines, more like a jewel, where in the 60s there's definitely more sort of organic and flowing. So we had this tank. Well, we designed it in house and then had it made by Tanner Matic. It's a Kevlar fiberglass tank, and then the same with um, the seat pan and the seat cowl. All were sort of carved by carved by me out of foam and then manufactured into fiberglass setups. Um, and then that's when we decided we were going to do the frame structure, and we really wanted to make it so that those could come off. So if you needed to take the motor off or do any work, uh, you could access that still. We didn't want to weld it together, so it's all removable. And then this V here, we wanted to really mimic the stock frame here. So we wanted to have it like the structure of the frame really flow well. So we sort of took all those cues into effect. Uh, Up on the dashboard here, this triple tree setup is completely custom. We designed it so that um, the tack and the speedo gauge is built into the triple tree. It's behind this sort of glossy acrylic. And then the headlight mount system is hanging from the triple tree actually. So it sort of makes it feel like it's floating. But we designed and custom made that whole unit. Um, we did the carbon fiber front fender, um, custom leather upholstery, custom chain sprocket cover. I felt like the stock Thruxton cover was just too like egg shaped. I thought it just took away from like the sort of speed feel of it. And then this green color is an Aston Martin paint color, and then it has highlights of yellow on it, which is also a sort of ode to British car racing. So um, overall, we were really happy with it. It has some other bolt-on British um, stuff, two into one pipe and Brembo brakes and a bunch of other electronics and stuff. That was one of the big things with this bike was the electronic setup was really difficult because it has an ECU. So
Yeah, what we had to do was basically piggyback a Moto Gadget system on top of the standard, enough of the standard harness that the ECU would still do its thing and communicate. So we pulled out a garbage bin full of old wires from the harness and basically inserted our own and tied it all together and made it all work. which is really kind of fun and kind of cool. Um, and then we also, just in the interest of making the bike a little more sprightly than the stock one, the front has Andriani cartridge inserts in it, which really help. As Pete said, Brembo radial caliper, Brembo clutch levers. The rear are these K-Tech shocks from the UK, also fantastic. And then in the motor, we can't leave it alone. We put a hot cam in there, this 2-into-1 British Customs pipe, and these big ass K&N filters on there. So it's not a crazy horsepower machine, but it's a lot peppier than it was stock. And it does what it kind of does. I think we felt the original bike was maybe a little bit square and kind of stayed, and this is sort of elongates things and kind of brings the sport bike out of what was in there, but it's kind of a standard bike to start with.
Yeah. So that's our 2013 Thruxton build, and yeah, if you liked it, like the video and comment. If you want your own Thruxton, let us know. It's a big project, but it was a lot of fun. And yeah, subscribe to Nova Motorcycles videos if you like. Thanks very much.